The time it took me to walk up here was about 10 seconds. 10 seconds in the wide scope of life is nothing. It's simply a moment. The time it takes to write your name, the time it takes to exchange hellos, 10 seconds. Although 10 seconds may just be a moment, that short period of time could make all the difference. Holding the door for a young student with an armful of books. Handwritten notes thanking people who have helped our community. An introduction to a stranger on our campus. To me, these are all simple, necessary acts of our shared humanity, or small acts of kindness. They are no burden, and they feel good to do. They do not take away from my busy day. The time it takes to do these things is just 10 seconds. They are as effortless as breathing. More importantly, I know they make others' days a little easier, because they do for me when I'm on the receiving end of them. Cheering someone on their best day, or giving a hug to someone on their worst, are moments that matter. The appreciation and smile on someone's face during one of these moments reaffirms the importance of the little things to the way I live my life. Now, I'm not here to lecture everyone on why we should say please and thank you. We all have our parents for that. What I am here to talk about is something more personal. When you think of friendship, what do you think of? I think of 3 words: reliable, selflessness, and forever. These characteristics, to me, lead back to the importance of the little things. Everyone has that one person who encompasses the true meaning of friendship. The one person who has cheered you on your best day and given you that much-needed hug on your worst. The one person that does these little things for you. The one person that knows the real you. In order to fully understand where I'm going and how these 2 topics connect, you have to understand where this all started. Allow me to fill in the holes for you. It all started on October 19th, 2001. I was 2 years old, and according to my parents, I was as happy as I could be. I sought attention and loved to talk to anyone and anything that would listen. Being the only child, my parents were all eyes on me all the time, and I loved it. We lived in a little apartment in Boston on Fallon Street. It was small, and to be honest, I don't remember a whole lot about it. But I have seen hundreds of pictures of me with a ridiculously big smile that swipes across my face, and as they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. All I know is that I was content walking through the city to my preschool with holding my mom's hand and playing in the parks with my dad on weekends. I don't think I thought life could get any better. I don't think little kids often do. Then my parents told me they needed to sit me down to discuss something. They told me that I was going to be a sister, a big sister. Immediately, I was thrilled. I was going to have another, smaller version of me to run around with. What could be better? I had immediately taken it upon myself to decide the name. My new sister's name would be Ellie too, obviously. Now, I'm not quite sure how this conversation came about, but I imagine my parents laughed while also being slightly horrified that I had just suggested my own name with simply a 2 after it as my sister's name. This might come as a surprise, but they didn't take my suggestion. They chose Brooke, which is all right, I guess. That was my second choice. Once it got closer to the due date, my parents thought it would be a good idea to put me in a class to prepare me for the role of being a big sister. The class covered all the basics. I learned how to put diapers on, how to feed her, hold her, and everything in between. I think in my head, I was preparing to raise her as my own. The bigger my mom got, the more the excitement grew inside me. That meant I was even closer to the day I would meet my new little sister. Turns out I was completely wrong. I thought I was getting a new little sister. I mean, technically I was, but what I really got on October 19th, 2001 was not only a sister, but the ultimate best friend, the reason for my laughter and smiles, and everything in between. Brooke is my prince, my knight in shining armor. Now, you may think that when I say that, I'm joking, but I assure you, I am not kidding. She is. As the first and oldest child, I, of course, was bossy, and naturally, my personality was to take charge and be the leader. So that meant whenever Brooke and I would play dress-up, I would be decked out in a shiny, sparkly, voluptuous princess gown, topped with a bedazzled crown, while Brooke, on the other hand, would be wearing a suit and a cape, dressed as my prince or king. In all of our dress-up pictures, she was never the princess or the queen. She was always my prince or king. Looking back, I think that we should have probably taken turns being the prince and the princess, but as funny as it is, this was true love. Brooke did not care if she was my prince or king. All she cared about was being together. She was flexible. She was always there, and she didn't care that she was my prince. She was just happy to be there. This is one of the many things Brooke has taught me, that I do not always have to be in control, and that being flexible and letting someone else lead can actually be just as fun. Amongst all the dress-up games and laughter emerging from our hideaway in the basement, there is something else that has always brought us closer together: our traditions. I do not actually know how our traditions started, but as long as I can remember, there's just been these things that we do. One of my favorites is on Christmas Eve. Our family hosts a Christmas party every year. Our house always rings with cheerful laughter as the smell of honey ham and the famous meatballs wafts through the air. Somehow, hours later, after the hustle and bustle, our house quiets, and it's just the four of us: my mom, dad, sister, and me. My mom and dad lock all the doors as my sister and I race each other up the stairs in our matching pajamas as the excitement builds for our annual sleepover. We slip ourselves under the covers and nestle up next to each other. We start gossiping about vacations people are on or who's doing what for the holidays. But once we hear the footsteps come up the stairs, we lie as still as we can to make it appear to our parents that we are asleep already. Once we don't hear footsteps anymore, we let out giggles and pick right back up where we left off in our conversation until we fall asleep. This may seem like a little thing to many, and it is. But I have learned through life that it is the little things and the little moments, like these sleepovers and conversations, that become the best memories and are the things that mean the most. Brooke and I's relationship is full of these little moments that bring us pure joy. Going through life with a sister is indescribable. I actually feel bad for those of you who do not have a sister, and those that do, I feel bad for you too for not having Brooke as yours. Sorry, I'm not giving her up. Now, do not get me wrong. My sister and I bicker and fight over clothes or showers or who took what. It is never a sight you want to see, but I promise you will definitely hear it if you are anywhere within a 5-mile radius of us. It is not always rainbows and butterflies in my house, I promise you. But even the times we fight or bicker, I don't know what I would do without her. What I would do without someone to fight with. What I would do without someone to hug me. What I would do without someone to unconditionally love me. This brings me to reliability. Reliability is one of the hardest characteristics to find in a person. Someone who is always there for the good moments, but is also there for the bad without letting their life get in the way. Some people say that sisters have to be at games, award ceremonies, and graduations, and I would definitely agree with that. I know that my parents would force Brooke to go to those. But sisters do not have to ask how your day has been and gossip about the latest news on campus or discuss our crazy family events. I can tell Brooke anything. There is nothing I can't tell her. And I never worry about her judging me because I know that the kind of relationship we have is different. We don't care what the other did. We want to laugh about the various embarrassing moments that we had that day. And with a pair like Brooke and I, there are at least 2 a day. We want to cry about the disappointments or failures we had, and we want to celebrate our accomplishments together. She always has the best advice, and I can truly say that even though she is the younger sister, she is the person I look up to and admire the most. As you can probably tell, my sister and I are close, extremely close. But although we are close, we could not be more different. We approach life extremely differently. Every year when fall rolls around, and Brooke and I are preparing for school to start, I, on one hand, color code every binder, notebook, and folder, all with sealed course labels on the top. Brooke does not color code. She simply goes into the store and grabs any notebook, folder, and binder she could find, matches them together, no matter the color, and she's done within 5 minutes. I have always loved math and calculations, where there is a solid answer. But Brooke loves writing and reading. She loves to discuss the soft edges of things. On family vacations in 90-degree weather, you can find me lounging by the pool or beach, and Brooke can be found nestled in the shade under an umbrella, reading not her first, but her second book of the trip. Clearly, based on this picture I just painted, Brooke and I have many differences, and may not at first glance seem like the best foundation for a friendship or a relationship. We seem like two pieces from completely different puzzles. The most interesting thing about this is that this combination of our differences forms the best foundation for friendship. Our perspectives and the different lenses we see the world through make our relationship stronger. She forces me to see situations an alternative way than I initially would. She makes me push myself to be a better person, and I like to think that I do the same for her. We do the little things for each other. We take the time to be there for each other. And my high school experiences the past 4 years have only proved this statement to be true, that doing the little things for people is all that matters. I have lived within 10 feet of my best friend since I was 2 years old. To think that next year I could possibly be, at the very least, 311 miles away from her seems impossible. I have no doubt that next year, when I'm laying in my dorm room bed, what I will look back on and miss the most are the little moments. Our morning drives to school, late night gossip sessions, or even ice cream trips. Although the distance will be tough, I have full faith that she will be texting me about how mom and dad are acting crazy, or about the drama with friends, or even just a call to say hello and that we miss each other. As I enter the next phase of life, I am confident that I can face anything, because I will always have my rock. My mom always reminds us during our small, pointless arguments that sisters are friends for life. As cliche as that sounds, it is absolutely true. From the moment I laid eyes on Ellie too, I knew we would be inseparable. Our relationship has changed the way I handle situations. She has taught me to release my firm grip on life and to just appreciate the ride. I try my best every day to be thankful. Thankful for my sister and I's relationship. Thankful for the ways Brooke has pushed me. And thankful for the times we have shared, no matter how little they may seem at the time. This friendship has made me aware that I need to always take time for the little things. Telling someone you love them takes 10 seconds. Letting someone know you cared takes 10 seconds. We need to take advantage of the time we have with the people we love. Most importantly, I hope all of you find a Brooke in your life. I promise you will need one. Thank you.